Yo, what's going on? In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Vampyr for the PS4, so stay tuned.
It's been a cold winter and it's lasted far too long.
Yo, what's going on? I'm Jay Cartere from growonyoutube.com, teaching you how to be better. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing my review for Vampyr for the PS4. And let's just get into it. Let's start with my experience. Now, I am a very big fan of vampires, vampire lore, and vampire stories. So I was very excited when I first heard about this game. We don't really have a lot of vampire gaming offerings on the table, especially in 2018. The last biggest vampire game that I know of that actually really went in depth of playing as a vampire was probably Vampire the Masquerades, and since I don't really game on PC or anything like that, that wasn't really available to me. So that was very unfortunate because there's no like PS4 version. And then apart from that, we've got like Skyrim, where they have a little part in where you can become a vampire, Oblivion, you know, those sorts of games. And then going further back, we got the Legacy of Kain series, Soul Reaver, that sort of stuff. But no real game where I can actually play as a vampire and have an RPG and be a vampire and that sort of stuff, except for Vampire the Masquerade's Bloodline. So I was very excited with the announcement of Vampyr because they said it's an RPG and you play as a vampire, but you're also a doctor, so you need to keep people alive and stuff, and you kind of gotta wrestle with those two parts of yourself. So that sounded interesting to me and I was excited for it. I've also played the Life is Strange series, which is made by the same developers, Don't Nod Entertainment, and the Life is Strange series was really good. It's a very heavily narrative focused game. I haven't actually finished it, so I can't actually comment on, you know, whether the whole thing was good or whatever, but I've watched a few I've played a few episodes, and those episodes were pretty good, and I enjoyed my playtime over there. So I'm also a very big fan of RPGs and story focused games, so this game seemed perfect for me, to be honest. But let's get into the gameplay, boy. So the gameplay is very interesting. They've basically got this social circle system, which is very interesting, and it makes it worth talking to people. Although some people that you talk to are very boring, there are very interesting characters later in the game. The way the social system works is if you kill a certain person who's linked to someone else, for example, you kill someone's mother, you kill someone's brother, someone's friend, then the other person, after you sleep or whatnot and the changes come into effect, the other person may then go do something. They may go missing, they may change where they usually chill out, they may be angry, they may be happy, anything can happen, but your choices basically have consequences around this social circle. And if you kill too many people in a district, then that district can go into critical mode, and then you'll just find, you know, enemies in there, and you won't even be able to interact with the social system in that district anymore. I believe there's like 4 districts that you can go through, and they have a number of people in that district, and they also have the pillars of the community in the district, and when those pillars die, it has a bigger effect on the district health. So basically what you've got to do is you've got to keep people alive as much as possible, like don't kill too many people, and you need to heal people and give them medicine and all that sort of stuff, because you'll see that certain people are sick and then they need medicine, this person needs medicine, and you have to go and do all that sort of busy work. But you know, crafting up medicine isn't too hard. You can find the ingredients pretty easily. You can pretty much always have a stock of medicine on you. It's just long to go from district to district to cure people, because there's no fast travel. And generally when you're traveling from district to district, you're gonna have to fight some people, and the fighting in this game is, I didn't look forward to it. Let's just say that. It's not great, it's not terrible, it's very mediocre, it's very middle of the road. It's not super fun, it's serviceable. So I never really wanted to go and fight and do that sort of stuff. I kind of tried to run past enemies when I was going from district to district doing this sort of busy work. I think, you know, fast travel would have made it a lot easier for me to heal people and stuff, but they do kind of like, you do open up shortcuts when you go through certain districts, so you can make it easier to go back to that place a second time, basically. So I started playing as a goody two shoes, you know, saving people, being a doctor and whatnot, trying not to kill unless I found really, really bad people. And then I realized I was playing a vampire game without doing vampire stuff, so I started snacking on more necks because I wanted to play a vampire game. I didn't want to play a game where I was a doctor who, you know, happened to be a vampire and I wasn't giving in to my vampiric urges, basically. So I didn't like that. We had to, you know, up the murder rate, basically. Now, there was a point in the game where I let someone live and there were negative consequences for that. And that was a very, very interesting surprise, because up until that point, I had been conditioned to think that, you know, saving people was the way to go. If you let people live, then the health of the district's going to be better, and if you kill people, it's going to go down. So to see them switch that up on me, and it made sense. It made sense with the context of this part of the game. Obviously, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I let someone live and shit went wild, basically. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. Also, enemies respawn in areas every time you sleep, which I understand, but it makes it very annoying to get from district to district quickly. As I said before, I was basically running from area to area at certain points of time because I just couldn't be bothered to fight people, because it got very, very tedious fighting people. Even if they were higher level or my level or lower level, it just got boring. I just wanted to focus on getting through the story, which is something I want to talk about. The game is heavily focused on talking to people. The dialogue tree that is present in the game, the kind of speech wheel, is cool, but there aren't enough meaningful decisions, in my opinion. Like, the dialogue tree is basically set up like, you say, you know, what's going on around the neighborhood, what do you do around here, all the basic stuff, and then you may have a personal question or two, and you just keep on asking questions. It's like having a list of questions, but they've done it in a dialogue wheel instead. And, you know, sometimes you'll get really, really interesting information and you'll want to ask all those questions. But generally, which was what I was doing, is you're just mining to see if they've got hints. Now, I didn't basically get into this earlier because it makes sense to reveal it with the conversation system, but the way the game works in terms of, you know, you having to eat people and stuff, is you need to learn about the people that you need to eat. And when you do that, when you learn about them, when you gather hints, you gather information about them, you learn more about, you know, their secrets and stuff, you actually end up getting more experience for eating that person. So it incentivizes you to learn about them, to ask them all these questions, to go to anyone who may be related to them and ask them all these questions, and to search around the area to see if you can find any other hints, and to wait around to see if you can spy on them while they're doing something, so that you can find more hints and learn what this person's about and get the most XP possible. Now, if they're sick, you also get less XP, so you need to heal people to get them to the point where they'll give you more XP as well. So you kind of take care of people and learn about people in order to beef them up and fatten them up so that you can eat them and get a bunch of XP. So that's basically the reason why you eat people in this game, so that you can get XP, which then in turn makes the combat easier, gives you the ability to unlock more vampiric abilities in combat and all that sort of stuff, which makes the combat more interesting because it's very bland at the beginning, but once you unlock more abilities, it becomes a little bit more interesting, and you can like play more like a vampire. You can be using your claws a whole lot more and not just, I don't know, it's not super fun at the beginning of the game. The combat is very, very mediocre, but it's like hit dodge, and you can parry as well, but sometimes the parry is a little iffy. I'm not sure if maybe my timing's just terrible, but you know, the parry doesn't always work the best. So I was using a lot of dodge and a lot of hits, and I was just basically using a baseball bat. In the beginning, I was using a machete and a stake, and then I just went to the baseball bat and never looked back because everything else just seemed crap. So that's how I was playing the game. And I eventually started eating people to get more XP and move through the game faster without fighting super high level enemies who were just making the combat take even longer when I just wanted the combat to be over and done with. You can also get new abilities by leveling up, and you can basically choose what abilities you want in an RPG kind of fashion. You can like choose, and this basically affects combat and makes it a little more interesting. For example, there are a variety of upgrades that you can do to your stamina, because combat is basically stamina based. If you swing your weapon, you'll use your stamina. If you dodge, you use stamina. So it's like stamina management, kind of like Dark Souls, but I wouldn't compare it to Dark Souls. Although I've played Dark Souls a little bit, but I haven't played it enough to be drawing comparisons like that. But the stamina system is very similar, very reminiscent of a Dark Souls. And you can upgrade that. You can upgrade your health. You can like upgrade how much damage your bite does to enemies, which are boring upgrades, super boring upgrades. There are upgrades like, you know, different abilities like using your claw, teleporting to someone to hit them. Actually, it's not teleporting in the game's lore, but that's what it basically is in combat. Rarely in the game's lore is you're moving so fast that people can't see you. So teleporting to hit someone. There's another like ability where I think it's like blood comes out of the ground and hits people in a specific area of attack. There are a few other abilities that I just didn't use because the way you get experiences, it's quite limited, and it has to be limited in a way that makes you want to actually eat people, which makes sense. So the experience is quite limited, so you don't really want to experiment too much with your abilities. Although every time you sleep, which is when you're able to upgrade abilities, you upgrade them like when you go to bed, and then the day goes by and all the consequences of the people that you've killed and the choices that you made comes into fruition, and people get sick or they heal and all that sort of stuff. But basically, when you go to bed and you have these skills on your screen and you're able to choose between them, you can actually reset your skills at any time. So all the points that you've put into your claw, you can take it out and put it somewhere else, and you can just respec your whole character, respec your whole combat thing, which is a really nice addition. Although I only did this once and I really didn't want to just go through respecing to try this and try that and try that. I just found something that worked for me and kept on going in that direction. Like, I've used one ultimate ability, you get to pick from 3, and I just stayed with the one ultimate ability. I didn't even try the others because I knew I'd have to respec, which would mean that I have to upgrade all my abilities from the bottom up again, which takes ages because you got to hold down X, and then all the XP is actually, you know, spent in there, which is reminiscent of Yakuza 0. Just started playing that, and it's like the exact same thing. What they do with the money in that game when you're upgrading your skills is what they do in Vampyr. So yeah, the upgrade system, it leaves a lot to be desired. There are a few abilities that make the combat a little bit more tolerable, make it a little bit more interesting, but the combat is definitely not something which I'd come to this game to enjoy and to experience. This game really focuses on the story and interacting with characters, and it's better for it because that's obviously where most of the focus has gone and where most of the fun and enjoyment you'll get out of this game is. That's basically most of the gameplay. The fighting and stuff is just on the side, and it's basically to give you an excuse to eat people, because if you don't eat people, you're going to be underleveled and the game is going to be harder. The combat's going to be harder. The combat isn't that hard. If you dodge and you can counter attack efficiently, then it's pretty much going to be easy to take out people. It may be a little bit grindy and a little bit boring. That's why I had to eat people, but it's not super hard. I was fighting people like 5 levels above me and doing pretty well. And yeah, by the end, I think everyone was like 4 levels above me or something like that. I was like level 31, everyone was level 35. So it wasn't that big of a big of a gap, and I was able to basically do pretty well. And I only killed like a minute amount of people. I lost the whole district, so I didn't even have the opportunity to kill those people, but I killed a minute amount of people. It wasn't too many, although I didn't get the best ending. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say on the upgrade system, the skill system, all that sort of stuff. So I missed out on many different connections, hints, and insights. Like, I missed out on so many things, because certain times someone will ask you a question, or you'll get into a conversation with someone, and you'll have like a choice of a few speech options. And I didn't know that these were speech options that wouldn't allow me to basically check all the boxes. Like, generally when you're in a conversation, you see 3 speech options, you can ask them about each one and you can learn everything. But sometimes there was a choice to be made, and a few times I made wrong choices and I lost hints, and a few times I went to go see people and I didn't know that I was able to get hints about them prior to that, and then I lost the ability to use a different choice at that point. So it's very, very interesting the way it works. The dialogue system, I don't think it's as good as Life is Strange. I think it's okay. I think it does its job, and I think I think it's cool. I think it could have been better. I think it could have been more interesting, but it does really get way more interesting when you get further down in the game and you get to like the 3rd district. That's when you find a lot more interesting characters. Now, what I did at the beginning of the game is I was like just talking to everyone in the 1st district, which is Pembroke Hospital, which is where your character basically lives. Let's say that he works at Pembroke Hospital. So I was there, you know, talking to everyone, trying to get all the hints for everyone so I can get as much XP on people as possible, and I could get these hints around this certain person where I didn't know who they were connected to, because I thought they were connected to no one. I didn't know where to find their hints, so I was talking to everyone to see if I could find a hint for him. Ended up realizing that I just had to find a letter which was near him, and then I got that hint, so I didn't actually have to talk to anyone. But talking to all those people kind of burnt me out, and it was like, this is super boring, and I wasn't really interested. And then later on in the game you find much more interesting people, and it starts up again, and you get more interested in talking to people and getting through that. So you could spend even longer and uncover everything this game has to offer if you want. You can talk to everyone, you can find all the hints, you can do 100% completion if you want, and you probably get more out of it. Now, side missions are sometimes interesting, but I got bored of actively completing them after doing all the side missions in the 1st area. Now, as I talked to everyone in the 1st area, I got a lot of side missions, and I've done all those side missions in the 1st area because I didn't want to go about just killing everyone. I wanted to get XP from side missions, and that is a way you can get XP. You do get less XP from like fighting and stuff than you do from just eating people, but side missions give you a nice chunk of XP, so I was doing that. But then I just couldn't be bothered with the grinding. I was like, okay, you know, we're just gonna kill people now. But they were interesting. Sometimes there were some really interesting ones, but some were just like really grindy and really annoying to do. I hate the side missions where it just gives you an area and it's like, find this thing in this area, because you could be searching for 30 minutes and not find this thing. You may not know where it is at all, and that's really, really annoying. I don't want to be wasting my time on side missions like that. But most of the side missions are simple fetch quests, like go here or get this or kill someone, and that's basically what you're getting, with some story ramifications around it based around this specific character. So if you like the character, you're probably more likely to go through and deal with this actual side mission. Also, in terms of bugs, there weren't a lot of bugs, but the game crashed once during a loading screen. No, it crashed twice during loading screens. It crashed once during a loading screen where I was moving into another area, and then it crashed once again during, I think it was the same type of loading screen actually. I'm not 100% sure. It crashed like twice, maybe less than 4 times, 3 times max during loading screens. And that was a little annoying, but when I reloaded the game, I was like right near where it crashed, so it wasn't that bad, to be honest. So let's get into the story, which is a very, very big part of the game and something I've been wanting to discuss. Of course, we're not going to get into any spoilers because this is a really heavily story-based game and you really need to check out the story for yourself. Now the story starts out good, then it gets a little slow, and then it gets much better later when you go to the 3rd district, which is the West End. Like, the story really picks up there. It really comes around, and then it's a continual push forward from there. I really wanted to see what was happening in the story once I got to the 3rd district. Like, in the beginning, I was very, very interested. And then after doing all those side missions and talking to all those people, I got a little bit bored about the story. And then when we hit the 3rd district, I got really, really excited again because more interesting things were coming about, and I really wanted to explore the story a whole lot more. And it continued to get even more interesting there. You got more interest in vampire lore, like all that sort of stuff was very, 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 very fun for me, and I really enjoyed it. There are also no manual saves, which means you have to replay the whole game to try different choices. I really dislike that. Because there are different endings to the story, and there are different choices you can make throughout the story, which is nice, and I love that. I love having that in RPGs. There's not that many, to be honest, but there are enough that you have a few choices around the game. It's not Witcher 3 depth, no way, but it's unfair comparing every RPG to Witcher 3, especially since this was made by, I think it's like a AA studio, that's what they're calling it, so I'm assuming they're kind of indie. But basically, you know, there's no manual saves, everything's auto saved, so if you want to try something else, you have to start the game again, which really hurts its replay value for me. Because I no way am I playing through this whole game again to go through all those conversations and all that sort of stuff and all those mediocre fights. And like, if the fights, if the combat was better, then I may be able to stomach going through the game again. But I think one time round was way good enough. I experienced the story my way, my story, and I really, really enjoyed that. I actually got the 2nd worst ending, which isn't great. There are 4 endings you can get, but the story was very good in the end. It wrapped up quite nicely, and there were many hints to the choices I made throughout the game, which was a nice touch, as well as one thing that really didn't fit in the last scene, but that didn't really hurt the story overall. I feel like it was a good story, it was well told, and it had a good conclusion. Now let's get into the graphics and sound, boy. So the graphics, the lip syncing is very bad. The lip syncing is very, very bad, not good at all. As well as, you know, the people. No, the people look fine. The graphics don't look like the best graphics in the world, but they're serviceable. I was never like, oh my god, these graphics are terrible, I can't play this game. It definitely works. It was a fine game. But that lip syncing was very mediocre. But to be honest, most of the time I was just reading subtitles, so I didn't even see the crappy lip syncing. But, you know, that's just a little pet peeve for me, having bad lip syncing. It's not going to destroy the game, but it does take you out of that experience, and it does take you out of being super invested in the game and feeling like you're, you know, immersed in the world. Now, the music's okay, it sets the mood well at times, but I won't be listening to that soundtrack in my free time, that's for sure. It's alright, And that's pretty much our graphics and sound. So, is it worth the price? It's currently £40.99 on Amazon. And it's worth it. It's worth it if you like dialogue and story heavy RPGs. I got many hours of gameplay out of this and I had fun for the most part. Now, it did get a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but it got a little bit slow. It got a little bit less interesting in like the 2nd quarter, but then it picked up and it really kicked it into 3rd gear, and it was really, really interesting to see the way it went. And let's quickly go over the pros and cons so you can make this decision for yourself. Pros. The social system is interesting to play with. There are interesting choices to make. There's a great story here. Cons. No manual saves, no fast travel, and respawning enemies. Come on, boy. So yeah, that is my review of Vampyr for the PS4. If you want to purchase Vampyr for the PS4, please use the link in the description or the link on the screen, as that will help out the channel, as that is my Amazon affiliate link, so I'll get like a few pennies if you use that, but it all helps out. It all helps out. Let me know what you thought of Vampyr in the comment section down below. Please don't have any spoilers here, because other people watching this video may not have played the game, or if you do want to discuss spoilers, please have like capital spoilers at the beginning of your comment, and then do like 5 returns or something so we can discuss the story, because this is a story heavy game and I think the story is really interesting. And I did really like the game, and I did really like being able to immerse myself in this world around vampires and learning the different types of vampires in the game and how they work, and learning the mythos and all that sort of stuff. It was really interesting stuff, so I'd be happy to discuss that. I have been very vague on the story elements in this review, because I believe the story is so important and I want you to experience it firsthand, and I don't really want to spoil anything or even give any synopsises, because I don't think it's necessary. Like, you can watch a trailer, you can pretty much understand what's going on in the game. But yeah, you play as Jonathan Reed, who is a doctor who turns into a vampire. That's pretty much all you need to know. And that's the review. Thanks for watching and liking and subscribing. If you got any thoughts, anything you want to share, leave a comment down below. Peace out. I'll see you in the next review. If you want to learn how I got over 23,000 subscribers and millions of views on my YouTube gaming channel, then you are in luck. Sign up to this free course right now. Link will be in the card, in the description, and in the pinned comment. Or go to growonyoutube.com/20k SEO course. In this course, you will learn the best way to write your video titles, tags, and descriptions to help you rank on the first page of YouTube. It's simple when you know what to do. I'll also show you a hack that will help you choose the right key phrases and help you create videos that can rank and get views no matter what game you play. Stop struggling to grow your YouTube gaming channel and start doing what works. Click on the link in the description or go to growonyoutube.com/20k SEO course. This course will not be up forever, so get in there as soon as possible. I hope to see you here soon, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey of turning your passion into your career.
It's been a cold winter and it's lasted far too long, so all this warmth I share with you.